Hi, it's Tim K5OHY. Got a new radio here that I'm going to unbox and maybe try to do a little POTA hunting and a few other QSOs here in the backyard. This is so nice outside. This is a G90. Now this was my first radio when I got back into ham radio about a year ago. I think I got this in January of 2024. And unfortunately that radio is no longer working. And it's totally my fault. What ended up happening is I had put a stake post mount on my truck, an antenna mount, and I used another antenna on that mount and ended up not unhooking the G90, which was mounted in my truck. And the other antenna actually had its own feed point, so what happened is the ground was directly connected to the center connector, and I forgot to unplug the G90, so I transmitted 100 watts from a different radio, and the other G90 stopped transmitting. So the receiver still works fine, and I could probably get that fixed. I've thought about pulling out the finals and seeing if that's a problem, getting those tested. So this is the new G90. It is a little different than the original one that I had. They changed to Anderson power poles, and I believe these vents weren't here on the other one. Other than that, it's pretty much the same radio. So what it comes with is with the power cable with Anderson power poles, and then just a regular connector. And I might put Anderson power poles on those here in a few minutes. And then it comes with a USB data connection. I got my original G90 to work with FT8, and I made a couple FT8. I made a couple contacts. However, it just wasn't my thing. So these, it comes with, this is if you're going to remote mount the head unit. You can take the head unit off and use this cable here and mount the head unit. I couldn't find a great mount for this, but I used a magnet mount, magnet cup holder mount that actually worked out pretty well for me. It came with a mic and a mic cable. We probably don't need that, so we're going to put it back there. So yeah, my G90, it hasn't been working probably in 5 or 6 months now, and so I really kind of missed having a 20-watt portable radio. I'm fortunate to have a lot of radios. I've got the two Elecraft, so yeah, I have a KH1, a KX2, and then I've got my FT891. And then I've got a few other QRP radios. I've got two QRP Labs radios, a QMX and a QCX Mini for 20 meters. I've got a SW3B. I've got two Mountain Toppers, Mountain Topper 4B and 3B, so the 3-band and the 4-band. I've got the new 3-band version, which is 40 meters, 20 meters, and 15 meters, which I thought was a good choice for that radio. But the G90 is a very capable radio. You know, because it's Chinese, it does get a little bit, it gets bashed online a little bit. However, you know, 20 watts, built-in antenna tuner that's really great. I will say the receiver in this radio is nowhere close to the receiver in like a Yaesu or an Elecraft. However, it's good enough for POTA. Sometimes pulling out hard DX stations is a little bit more difficult with this radio because the filtering and stuff is not, I don't find it as good. However, it's a great radio for the price, and that's why I bought another one. It's funny, my dad actually just got one of these in the mail yesterday that I'm hoping he takes it out. He lives up in Omaha, and actually there's a lake at the end of his neighborhood that's up the POTA site, so that'd be kind of neat if he starts going down there. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing hooked up. I've got a 6 amp hour battery here, and I've got a battery monitor. This thing does not draw a whole lot of power, which is one of the reasons I really like it. 20 watts, and then you can take a small battery and you can have a lot of fun with that. In fact, I'm doing some SOTA trips here coming up, and if it's not a really bad hike, I might take this radio instead of a smaller radio. So let me go ahead and get the power cable set up, and then I'll be back and see if we can't make a few contacts with this radio. Okay, I've got the power cable. I put Anderson power poles on the other side, so it's got Anderson power poles on both sides. I do have the fan that comes along with this, the fan mount. However, I want to use it without the fan today, just to kind of see how well it cools and how hot it gets. So I've got this stand right here. If I can figure out how to use it. Alright, so I've got the radio here on a stand. That might actually be too much of a... I might 3D print some feet for this, though, if I can find a decent model. Alright, let me plug in the antenna. The antenna I'm going to be using today is my Cobwebb antenna, which is basically a folded dipole, and it has elements for 20 meters through 6 meters. It does not require a tuner. However, I have a couple bands that I need to try to get working a little bit better. 15 meters has been kind of spotty on this thing, and I had trouble adjusting the length. And then 10 meters for some reason has been acting up lately with a little bit higher SWR. Other than that, it works pretty well on all the bands. And give it some power. Now, hopefully I remember how to use this radio. It's been quite a while, so we'll see. I've got my modern Morse key, which I recently got, and this thing is just really, really great key. The only thing about this key is I backed the magnets off all the way. It's still just a little bit tight for me, or there's still a little bit too much resistance, but it's pretty close to perfect all the way backed out. So I find it very easy to use with those magnets backed all the way out. Other than that, I've got the tolerances set really tight, and it feels really good. All right, we'll plug the key in and see what we got here. Let's turn it on. All right, so we're on 20 meters right now. Let's go back down to the CW portion. I was at 1 watt, so I'm gonna go. There's 20 watts. All right, first contact on the G90. Yeah, I called him at 1 watt. He heard my K, so then I turned it up to 20 watts. All right, so we got that soda station in Colorado, and it took me a few tries, but we got them. Let's see. A little bit of a glitch right there. He's dropping dits. I'm going to find an open frequency here. Turn up the speed a little bit. Let's see if we hit any spotters in the reverse beacon. This antenna is not great on 15 meters. So let me check the reverse beacon on this band. Let's turn up the speed a little bit here. Just wanted to give a couple thoughts on the G90 now that I've used it. I made 12 contacts in, I don't know, about 45 minutes or so, just kind of messing around on a few different bands. See, I made contacts on 5 bands, 20 meters, 17 meters, 15 meters, 12 meters, and 10 meters. Did really well. I'm really glad I've got this radio back. It got a little warm sitting out here in the sun, but it's probably only about 75 degrees, but I mean, there's not a cloud in the sky, there's no wind, and it is a little hot. My phone's hot to the touch. The only issue I had is occasionally it would have kind of a glitch in the keyer, and I remember having that issue on my previous G90. It just kind of like would stutter or drop a dit, and I'm not sure why it's doing that, and I couldn't get it to reliably repeat it. It was just occasionally. It only happened once or twice where it would just kind of, you know, I'd send a 5 and like it would kind of glitch out on a couple of dits, and I don't know, it may be I don't think it happened on 20 meters now that I'm trying to remember. It may be a little bit of RF coming back, and that could be fixed with a choke at the radio. That was the only issue. Other than that, it performed really well. Having 20 watts is nice. It draws right at 0.46 amps on receive, and if I hold down the keyer, let's turn it to manual, and if I hold it down, 4.3 amps on transmit at 20 watts. So that is much better than a FT891, and the fact that it uses less than half the power on receive. So, you know, 6 amp hour battery like this should last quite a while. So anyway, you'll be seeing this radio out in the field. I'm probably going to take it out maybe tomorrow or definitely this week sometime. So 73, I hope to see you on the air.